My name is William Ferguson, and I am a classical singer, and I do a lot of opera, but I also sing concert and recital music as well. I started singing when I was about, from as early as I can remember. I loved playing the piano, and I loved performing, and around the time I was 12 years old, my grandmother took me to the opera in Richmond, Virginia, where I'm from, and I fell in love with it immediately, and I knew that the whole experience of theater and music and sets and costumes and a beautiful symphony orchestra and gorgeous singing, all of that coming together was exactly what I wanted to do. I've sung Messiah a lot. I've sung probably at least 25 different productions of Messiah, maybe more. And it's a piece that I love. I was thinking this morning, the music of Messiah is so incredible, and every time that I do it, I really find new things in it that just are extremely revelatory. I think the work is genius. Handel was an absolute master. And, you know, if pressed up against the wall, it would be hard for me to choose between Messiah or maybe Marriage of Figaro as just the most perfect pieces of music. I think his ideas are excellent. I think the way that he's found Messiah as an allegory for, our current climate in America, and the way that we deal with immigration, the way that we deal with excess and arrogance and humility and charity, I think is really, really instructive. And I think it's very inspired. I think it suits the piece really well. The first act is set in sort of the late 1950s, a very idyllic time in American history. And I think it's perfect for part one because it's the most hopeful and the most idyllic part of Messiah, the anticipation, the promise, and the coming of Christ. And one thing that he's done is made us the three prophets. But three prophets of 1950, he's dressed us as Salvation Army carolers. And so we are these three Salvation Army kind of characters that spread the news of what's going to happen to the people around us. And with the soprano, he's made her someone that is more domestic. And we kind of are led to believe that perhaps the soprano is the Virgin Mary, because she comes out, she's pregnant, and she's excited about the birth of her child, and she's the one who brings the news of the coming of Christ. And so I think that was one turn that I thought really kind of, without giving us specific characters, it gives us some kind of place in the story from which we can tell and sing our arias, and it makes sense within this world. And then in the third act is all set in 1911, Ellis Island. It's coming to America. It's about immigration. It's about the promise of a new world that I think was very real for a lot of our grandparents and great-grandparents. And I play an immigrant. And it's this victory of having made it, and this anticipation for a new life. The promise starts anew. And I think that's really what the third act is about in the story. And the mezzo and I play a married couple who've just arrived in America. There's no real narrative that goes through the show, but there are these moments in scenes that follow one after another, and it seems to be the sum of its parts that create this story, this feeling that you have when you leave the theater. And I think that's going to be the effect that our production of Messiah has on people, is that yes, they get it's the story of Christ, it's the story of hope, it's the story of promise, but there's also something that is there's more. There's an inspiration that comes from seeing this piece and seeing the relationships played out between people, as opposed to just being told the relationships through concert, that I think will be extremely gratifying for everyone who's there.